Good morning. Welcome to Satsang. In natural meditation, you can call it like that, there is no meditator. So there is no mirror, no reflection. I am aware of myself. No mirror. And from here, of course, everything can be created like a mirror too. But don't confuse even the best reflection for it. It will avoid you problems of search. If you don't understand what I say, please ask. What's alive? A personal life is busy. Very, very busy. Subject, object, subject, object. Very, very busy. That's why at some point one needs a rest. Not that it can stop the function of the life, the appearance of the life. But the way to see, oh, that is the life. Who am I in it? I am an actor. But from where I see that, I keep quiet. So I'm no more only an actor. So that's the menu of today. I need my... Thank you. Just that. Yeah. Thanks. Oops. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
You started by saying that we shouldn't confuse the mirror or the reflection with this.
With what
With
is, yeah. With what
what
you
is.
really are, yeah.
Yeah. How would you describe what is the mirror or the reflection of it?
I am aware of myself. I was aware before of something. Now, because the circumstances are such and quiet, I give myself a moment of being aware of myself. But one should be quieter than that, because that appearance will also go. And if it goes and you think it's real, will search again and again to go back there. And there are methods for that, like meditation with a meditator. It's the meditator which creates the mirror, you see, the landing place of being a meditator. That also can be seen as an object now, if you keep so quiet that you don't need to be there.
Yesterday I was contemplating, and somehow it came to me that complete freedom would also be freedom from being conscious in a way, like because this consciousness also appears in a way in the waking state, right?
Right, that's what I am trying to say. You,
Yeah.
you say the same thing then.
Okay. But then beyond consciousness, there's no awareness of anything at all, right?
Beyond consciousness of something, you mean?
Like when the consciousness dissolves, for example, into deep sleep, there's no awareness of anything, right? Not even of existence.
It looks like, yeah. It's our everyday experience. And yet we resuscite every waking up. So something must be permanently there, a background of something. That's what is pointed out by consciousness, if you like, by that word. The trouble is that it's the same word to speak of the personal consciousness. Oh, I'm conscious, I have a life, I'm conscious, I am a human being, and all that. With that, which is called consciousness too, but it cannot have a name, but it's a pointing. If there is a consciousness of, it is a personal consciousness. Is what makes one investigate or live his life. But actually, you see, if you see, this I, if nothing is attached to I, we are I all the time. But we attach the waking state and this and that, and so it becomes personal. Otherwise, the same I makes you also see, I recognize myself even though everything of myself is changing. The color of the hair, the body, my thoughts. There is nothing constant except that I know I am myself. But when we say I know I am myself, it is not attached to a quality. The confusion is that we take one quality for what I am.
I feel like when you don't attach yourself to those qualities, there's just this kind of presence.
But who knows that? I am aware there is a presence. You have to be quieter than that. Don't expect to have a state like that, it's impossible. Then you will be aware of the presence, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. And when those states or experiences come, it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter if you know they are states and expression of what is. So no confusion.
Morning, Ganga.
Good morning.
Sometimes old stories come up, and they're particularly they're very emotional and very powerful. And this particular one last night was to do with resignation, and it's like being with. It's like, oh fuck, just being with that. It's like riding down, shooting the rapids. White water rafting. It's just like. I just want to know what's the best way to to be, just to sit with it, or what's your advice?
Don't sit anywhere.
Don't ride. I can't ride. If I ride on the rapids, it just takes me crazy.
That's what I say.
Yeah, yeah,
You cannot avoid that it appears. It appears without
yeah,
controlling it. And but if you don't make something of it, it will disappear as it appeared, and you will see it's not that valuable after all.
yeah,
You know. So
yeah. It's an old story, so it
yeah,
just comes up.
sure.
Yeah. Mm. Okay, thank you.
That's why you see in those quite obsessive repetitions, it looks like, when you experience them, it's good to have the tool of investigation. Yeah, just use your tool also. You know, it's very funny, but whatever is not acquired by someone. You see, so you cannot use that as a tool. It's not acquired, but it's available every now when you don't catch yourself with the mind feelings and, of course, sensual experiences.
Ganga, yesterday I heard you say there are not two realities.
Shall I repeat it?
Yes.
Yeah, because in satsang, you see, the difficulty of satsang is we speak of something we don't know, which is obvious, but it's not known. And for that, to give oneself, which is generally a being very busy with the life, so to give to that one who has that demand a glimpse of what is, there is a kind of rejection of what he only knows up to now,
Yes.
which is the experiences, the thinking and the feeling in life, in the personal life. So for that, it is said it's an illusion, which is true, because by nature it changes all the time, it has no substance. But it is not true for this body, mind, and individual.
Yes.
Okay, so there is a kind of now a division. Oh, this is illusory reality, and now I want to realize my real. But first of all, will be no more mine, no more yourself. It is pointed from where all this could spring and disappear. It is the same place. So once there is a sudden obviousness, let's say, of that, you see that everything is that. Just one aspect is in the non-form, formlessness, so the absolute aspect, and the other is that itself in its apparent form aspect, so limited aspect by time and space. That's it. That's why you see there are all those stories of the one who is in the market and then he searches his way out and then he goes with the bull because he has a vehicle. The bull goes to the caves and then he realizes at once suddenly, and then he stays whatever time there, even having realized, and naturally the bull has enough and he comes back to the marketplace. And everything is the same and everything is not the same. But it's those images and all that, they are excellent. At the same time, they are half understood by the mind. Or the mind will make something out of it. It's just pointing out. If you go back to the market after having been a monk or a detached man, what does it mean? Not that you will be detached in the marketplace. You just forget about this attachment and detachment. You just forget what you have attained and just live. What can you attain? You cannot even attain that. So just basta. You have not so much attained it that you cannot even try to remain in the absolute state. Enough of all that. But you see, for some reason it's not enough to hear it. We have to pass through those things. It has to be a personal experience. Not enough to hear and to trust. It's already a great attitude. But one has to pass through that. With his own investigation. And as long that there is anything aware of, you investigate. It means it can be questioned. It means there is still someone too much. But ask, if it is not clear, I may not be myself so clear, so just ask. You know, this is your place. Of course, you hear things, it may fit you, but sometimes it's not like this, so ask more. It's your place. I had the same with my own master. I had my place. And I took full benefit, I tell you. Yes. Then what?
Hi, Ganga.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you speak a little bit more about investigating and whether you mean like through the mind, through the body, or
Yeah. Okay. So it goes back always to the same pointing, which is you feel something in your body. If you are in that processes of I want to know what's real or I want to know who am I in fact, only in those conditions I can reply, okay? Because otherwise there are so many offerings about that, about the demands. Okay, if you want to know, I want to live what the wise men live, for example. What do they mean, after all? So, there is a pointing, which is who is, if you are in your body, who is feeling this? Tell me now. Huh?
I.
I. Well, we go back to I now. So, who am I?
A mirror.
No, don't bring the mirror. When you ask who am I, so you went very far. I mean, there is not much object there. You replied I, but you mean I am the one I know, I feel, and I sense. So I am this body mind. That's what you imply when you say I. Now, who am I? And the answer is where the question disappears and remain there just a moment, not catching a new thought. So whatever happens, let it be in the body, let it be in the feeling, let it be in the cocoa. Who? I. Who am I? Like that again and again. Whenever you have the guts for it, whenever you want it or you need it. Yeah, that's what I call investigation.
Thank you. Ganga.
Yeah.
So last Friday you spoke about how we are always going through an experience or waiting for an experience to happen. So over the last couple of days I was just like reflecting and observing, and I
Yeah.
realized that's really true. That's
It's
all I
true,
was
isn't
doing.
it? Yes,
Yeah, I
sure.
was waiting to do something or I was doing it.
Sure.
So now that we know that, is that just how we accept to live? Like, is that just life?
That's your life, yeah?
And so we just continue experiencing or waiting for experiences?
Yes, that is life, actually. It's a movement, isn't it? Life is a movement. You are born and then boom, 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 and then you die. It's a movement. So we are always in the movement till one starts to investigate. But after all, it looks a bit absurd. Is it really absurd? And all these kind of questions. Yeah? Okay.
And then my
We-
head hurts a lot.
Huh?
My head hurts a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, in the end, you are like, ooh, it's unbearable. It can be unbearable too. So you have enough, but for that, the wise man then comes here. They have also a voice. Like everything else in this world has a voice, the wise men are a voice. Even if they are no more alive, their voice is a voice alive. Okay? So they say you will not find everlasting happiness and peace in this world. All is temporary. All is temporary. And if you want to be quiet about this fact, just realize who you are, in fact. And here comes the investigation, or just the sudden, oh, I always have been myself, but not as I thought. I'm the background of everything, in fact. And that is not seen in this life all the time. But once it has been seen, it becomes so precious. Because then you are not misled by concepts, even if you forget and all that, but you will be waken up by that sight you had. Yeah? Great. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
So I've fairly recently discovered the power of Satsang,
Yeah.
and what happened now, I feel like because I realized like something opened, my mind creates a desire to acquire the calmness, the state, which also prevents me from becoming calm and staying in the exercise. So my question is like how can I detach from the desire to be calm?
Be calm first.
Yeah, I think that's in the way.
What is annoying? I annoy you? What is the news, annoying news?
No real news, I think.
The Zen master were very annoying with their koans, you know. Very annoying. So some monks, they just left the monastery to go somewhere else thinking there will be better. Or they just sit with the koan till it becomes no more a koan. Because we are too much in habit to have fast food here. In information, now you get the most subtle informations ever about the subject because people are so well informed and becoming so more smart. You think it's enough? No. You have to chew it yourself and nobody will do it for you. Nobody. So
I take that. Thank you.
yes, I'm happy for you. Yes. The best blessing, you see, is to show you directly what you request, some direction or some encouragement and the best wish for you. But the blessing is never that it does the job for you. Never. Enough of that belief. I always say, I am totally grateful to my master, but I had to do the job he left with me. He didn't do it. What do you think? Yes.
Hi, Ganga.
Hi.
When I heard, it was funny because it felt like it was something that was already obvious, but then it wasn't.
Okay.
That there are not two realities.
Yeah.
It I guess what I saw was that I'm aware that there's somewhere where my mind cannot go, and
Yeah.
that make me think that this is something else.
Yeah, but then, okay, the mind cannot do otherwise.
Yeah.
You're right. It will make two realities. The mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's like that. That's all. Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes the mind is tricky and he will say, all is one. But he will mean, I am one with the tree, I am one with the sky. So know that the mind speaks half-truths. But I know what I am. Okay, that's it. Hi.
My question is more about what you call the mind.
Yeah.
I feel like I have many minds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The mind
And
can appear in many forms. The mind, what I call the mind, is whatever appears. So it can be physical, it can be feelings, it can be concepts, ideas. That's the mind. Whatever appears and disappears.
even if it's not connected to the voice
Which voice?
in the head.
It's the mind too, the voice. It
No,
appears.
yeah, I know that one. I know that's the only one I'm 100% sure is the mind.
Okay.
But when there's no voice, is it still the mind?
But the voice is in the body language then. It's the same. I feel pleasure, I feel pain. This is the language of physical body, of the physic. The same voice in the emotional heart. Oh, I feel happy. Oh, I feel sad. I feel hurt. I feel this and that. Is the voice, is the language of this part of this field. And in the mind, it is a voice with ideas, directions, or whatever is there.
If I feel something without identifying it, is it still the mind?
You feel without identifying. It exists, yeah?
It exists for me.
You are not identified, and then from where the question comes from? From the feeling, or from the identification, or from the non-identification?
Like when you know an answer and you don't try to resolve the problem, it just comes. It's not the mind, or is it like the sub-mind? Like, is it like the back
Oh, you
of
can
the brain
divide
mind?
the mind into many, many layers. I agree. You can say sub or untouched, or I don't know, prior or whatever. But that's our levels of the mind. But then it's the mind still, you know. Gross mind or the most subtle mind is still a mind. It appears, it was not there before, it appears, it has a span of life, it disappears. This is really the description of what is the mind. And you see that you can apply it to feelings, you can apply to senses, you can apply to whatever you know, after all. Do you apply to whatever you know?
I'm not sure.
So
I
what
think
what do you save out of that?
I don't know how to explain the second mind.
Yeah, but you say yourself it's still a mind.
I don't know if it's a mind.
It is the mind, otherwise from where the question comes from.
Well, now the question comes from the mind that noticed that it doesn't have all the answers, that they come from somewhere else.
Mm.
And it's like, is it a part? Like there's a part. It's kind of like similar to intuition,
Mm.
but
Okay.
for things that are
Yeah,
not
okay.
necessarily of nature.
Yeah, but still, I would call it still a mind, a subtle mind, a more inner mind, more to the personality you are. But it appears and disappears, isn't it? Oh, you're not sure.
No, I don't feel it appears. I feel it's hidden and it just shoots things at me. And then the mind says, "Oh, somebody shoots things at me," and then it
So
becomes
you
there.
call from where it comes from. You call it intuition.
I don't know what it is, but it shoots. It
It's-
brings things
It
that I
comes
didn't
from you.
know.
It comes from the one I see. It comes from who you think you are. And if you think you are also something else, then you own that something else now. So it is still from the one you think you are. What I point out is when you cannot own anything anymore. So the one you think you are, as the value is gone or it has disappeared, it doesn't matter about that. But it doesn't come, it cannot be owned by anybody. So you cannot speak about that. Nobody can speak about that. You speak of something you know quite well, even if it is difficult to describe, but you know it very well.
I know it as much as you can know a black hole, I guess.
Sure. Sure. So, what was the question?
If that
Is also the
thing
mind.
that seems to come from nowhere is also the mind. That
It
was
is
the
the mind.
question. Yeah,
It
it
is
is.
still the mind.
Okay.
Yes.
And it doesn't have a voice, but it's still the mind.
Sure. Sure. Now, what I would say is not the mind, it's from where you see all this. You spoke of black hole and all that. Still, you see things to speak about that, even if it is very intimate, but you still speak. From where you see all that, keep quiet just a moment without grasping anything. This, I would say, that's not the mind. Did you point? You were pointed towards that, or not?
I thought I had an answer, and now I'm more confused.
No, no,
because
good, no answer.
The
It's
black
good.
hole is the silence. Is like
Yeah, but
somewhere
silence,
with nothing.
silence. If you speak of silence, suddenly you know it. You know what silence. It becomes your experience, so you know what is. It appeared that this way. That's why nothing which appears can be taken for it. It's an expression of it. But that's it. If you know that, you are quite relieved. What can you save, tell me? All what we want to save is in this manifestation, means in the creation of what is. No escape. Yeah.
But then, when I understand you right, is also being aware the mind. Because when we are talking about sensations, for example, and there's just a sensation without a story, without an interpretation, without even a thought, it's just a story, and the awareness of the story, of the sensation.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
not the
No, it's okay.
the awareness from the of the sensation.
It's still personal. It's a personal. It dies when you die. That awareness dies when you die. So
it's still the mind.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that awareness goes to sleep, goes in dream, goes in waking state. It's personal. Now that you know this, keep quiet. You know what it means, this creation. And you are.
Hi, Ganga. So I find that I go through these repetitive cycles of feeling like I have clarity and understanding, and then completely forgetting, like almost like a memory loss, and then I'm back to square one where nothing makes sense again. And then I like take this journey and, you know, all the highs and lows and sorrows, and then I come to the realization, and then I forget it. It's like I'm just in circles, and
It's called a vicious circle, yeah?
how does one break? How do you break this cycle?
You don't break. You just see that you are not that only. If you can speak about something, it becomes an object. Who is the subject? Who is the subject? That's what you are. But it can't help. It looks like that the seer, the subject, what is constantly expressing itself. You are nobody to stop that.
So the subject doesn't forget?
He doesn't need to remember. It's only a person who needs to remember and forget, and that will continue. The creation is already being made. We cannot fix that. I mean, and what is this creation? Forgetfulness and remembrances. That's it. Good and bad. Duality, it's called. So that duality will never be one. What is one, you can say, is the seer. Is the one to whom this appears and disappears.
The one who's aware that...
No, not that, just aware. Awareness itself.
Do you have any advice for when you are in the states of being forgetful?
The ask, I forgot what.
But I don't even remember that I forget till I come out of it.
Oh, at some point you get up. At some point you wake up.
Okay.
So cherish those moments. Don't lament yourself. Oh, I forgot for so many weeks or whatever. Cherish the moment when you wake up.
Okay.
Then when you cherish that it's very pleased and will come back to wake you again.
Okay. Thank you.
That's why sometimes we come to satsang, you see, not only because we still search about the subject, but it's also because when it's solved, for example, it's a way to benedict, to remind oneself. I come to satsang not to learn anymore. It can be like that too, of course, satsang. But I mean, it can be also, for myself, why to give satsang? Okay, I give satsang if there is a demand, sure, it appears. But it is also for me. I love it. Because I know the life makes you so busy. So at least I know that I dedicate sometimes more because of satsang. And I love it. So what? So it means...
It's just like, do you ever feel...
I don't hear. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like we're all, or me, I'm just playing different games, you know? And
Sure.
sometimes I wonder, is like yoga, meditation, chanting, satsang, is that just
Yeah.
another game I'm choosing to play?
Okay. It's another game, sure. But satsang with, how you would say, differently, contrary to chanting or all that, which is, it has its own beauty and effect. But satsang wakes you up. It doesn't give you a state which can be sublime, because the satsang is is meant to cut off the belief I am someone only. Because who is chanting, who has this beautiful, no doubt, sublime states and all that, it's somebody. So it doesn't cut off the belief. So when that root belief is gone, it still appears, of course, and plays this vicious circle. You can may not even call it vicious. It's natural circle like that. There is no more anxiety about what do I do in this life, what's the meaning of life and all that. Or, you see? Great. It doesn't give necessarily answers to that, but it removes the charge of the question.
I'm still inquiring the awareness, and what I understand is that you make a distinction between personal awareness and awareness.
Yeah. But the distinction is when there is a confusion, otherwise I would not speak like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
It feels like every question is just eaten by it.
Good luck.
Yes, a question is arising and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the answers. Huh?
Yeah. But your advice is to just keep quiet in this seeing, in this.
Not in the scene, from where you saw.
Yeah.
So it's a question about the life. I think, I mean, in my life, I feel a huge, like, I cannot even express the gratitude.
Yeah.
You, Satsang. And one thing I would like to ask or tell is, like, I have moments where I'm suddenly reminded. Let's say I'm driving my car, I'm working, and I'm busy, and suddenly there is like a little and actually I'm just curious because I hear you talk about this sometime in Satsang when you say, for example, honor what you're here for.
Yeah.
And
means that when it happens to you, you know how precious it has been. You dedicated your life up to now to know this, and now you are it. You see, so just know how precious it is. It will wake you up whenever. Is it the answer?
Thank you.
Yeah. Because you see, I have seen, let's say, in words, those who have seen and they still have a very long life afterwards. The preciousness of it, sometimes the mind feels it. It's taken for granted or whatever. No. No.
if you say that it wakes you up whenever, um, I wonder, do you, like in your experience, for example, does this waking up, like, because it sounds like, I guess I'm just wondering if there's also this complete wakefulness in a way where you don't need to be woken up anymore.
Who cares? Tell me who cares now. For the real thing, you see who cares. Now, it's true that in the life, you see some lives which look like a bit more embodied by that than others. But these are degrees in life. That's why some clever people made stages of enlightenment, up to 9 stages and all. But what they don't know is that they describe the life of someone. And that is not in your hands. And it doesn't mean anything about the real thing. That thing dies with you anyway. The way how you live. So mind your own business. Never try. You have people who inspire you about that, surely. But they are just inspiration. Never try to copy them. You can't. You can't. And you should not. Papaji had a completely different life than his own master, Ramana. Would you say that he realized less? It would be quite foolish. Thank you.